Hello everyone, welcome to Square Root Academy. My name is Raghavendra Pratap Singh. In this video, I am going to solve some previous year questions of GATE 2020. It is part 4. So let's look at the question. It is a question number 27. Read the question carefully. Suppose V is a finite dimensional non-zero vector space over field complex and T is a linear transformation from V to V such that range of T equal to null space of T, then which of the following statement is false? So here be careful, you need to tell which of the following is false. ओके सो एक बार क्वेश्चन को हिंदी में बता देता हूँ. क्या बोल रहा है कि एक आपके पास वी फाइनाइट डायमेंशनल का वेक्टर स्पेस दे रखा है, फील्ड है कॉम्प्लेक्स और टी एक लीनियर ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन दे रखा है वी से वी पर, मतलब लीनियर ऑपरेटर. ठीक है, सच दैट कि उसका रेंज स्पेस जो है नल स्पेस के बराबर है, इक्वल है. देन विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट इज फॉल्स, तो कौन सा सही नहीं है वो आपको बताना है. ठीक है, देर आर 4 ऑप्शंस. द डायमेंशन ऑफ v is even, 0 is the only eigenvalue of t, both 0 and 1 are eigenvalues of t, and the last option is t square is equal to 0. This 0 means 0 transformation, okay, not a simple 0. So there are two ways to solve this question. One is you go via direct way and try to prove it which of whatever the option is right, and the second way you can discard the options and the remaining one is going to be correct. Okay, but here you have to be very careful, whatever the false option, that is going to be your answer, right? So let's start solution. So I'm going to solve this problem in two ways. First of all, I will go in direct way. Whatever is given, I will try to conclude. Here it is saying range space is equal to null space. Okay, so we know that Sylvester law. What is the Sylvester law? Dimension of V is equal to dimension of range space, RT means range space, and dimension of null space of T. As range space is equal to null space, it means I can write it will be nothing but 2 times dimension of range space of T, or you can write also 2 times dimension of null space of T, because if two spaces are equal, their dimension is going to be same. Okay, so it is nothing but equal to dimension of V. From here what I can conclude, that whatever be the dimension of range space or dimension of null space, but the dimension of V is always even. Dimension of V is always even. So first option, here it is saying the dimension of V is even. So this statement is true, but we need to collect false one. So that's why I can cut this option. After that, what it is saying, 0 is the only eigenvalue of T, and both 0 and 1 are eigenvalues of T. T square is equal to 0. So again I will use whatever the given thing is, that range space of T is equal to null space. So let any vector A belongs to the V. Any vector belongs to V. V is a vector space. Then T of A, where it will belongs? T of A belongs to range space of T. Okay, because T is a transformation from V to V. And we know that range space equal to null space, then what I can write? T of A also belongs to the null space of T, since it is given that range space of T equal to null space of T. But what is the meaning of any vector if belongs to null space? What is the meaning? Since first of all I will write the null space definition. The null space of T is nothing but any vector from vector space V such that T of alpha is equal to 0. So you can take this vector as a alpha. Alpha belongs to null space. It means what? The image of this vector under transformation T will be 0. So T of A equal to, you will get 0. That you can write T square of A equal to 0. What is A? A was arbitrary vector in a vector space V. It means I can write it is true for every A. T square of A equal to 0 for every A belongs to V. This will imply that T square is nothing but it is equal to the 0 transformation. So the fourth option is also right, but again we need to collect false one, so this option I can discard. And once I got this operator t square is equal to 0, this will imply that t is nilpotent. T is nilpotent operator or nilpotent matrix, whatever you want you can say it. So T is nilpotent operator, and we know that if T is a nilpotent operator, its all eigenvalues will be 0. Here what it is saying, both 0 and 1 are the eigenvalues of T. So this one is false, so that this option will be correct. And here it is saying 0 is the only eigenvalue of t. Yes, it is correct, but again we need to collect false one, so this option again I can discard. So right option is C. And what result I am using? As we got it, t is a nilpotent operator, so each eigenvalue lambda will be 0. Each eigenvalue of nilpotent operator will be 0. So this is the one way to solve this problem. Okay, there are another way. What I will do, I will try to construct a linear transformation T from a vector space V to V such that range space is equal to null space, and then I will discard the options and remaining one is going to be correct. So let's look at the second method to solve this problem. So first of all, what question is saying, V is a finite dimensional vector space. So without loss of generality, I can assume that okay, it is a finite dimensional vector space R2 over R. Okay, no problem, you can take over R also, there is no problem. So T is from R2 to R2, finite dimensional to finite dimensional vector space V to V, such that it is a linear transformation and its range space is equal to null space. Means we need to construct T, or I have to send T of x y equal to some vectors or some tuple such that its range space is equal to null space. So you can check out, I am writing one transformation 0 comma x. This is a linear transformation, you can check out, it is a linear transformation. Also you can check its range space equal to null space, and both are equal to y-axis. Its range space and null space both are y-axis. You can check out. If you don't know, tell me in the comment box or comment section. I will tell you in the next video how to find out range space or null space. If you know, then it is good. Okay, so T of xy is equal to 0 comma x. It is a linear transformation for which I am getting range space is equal to null space. So I have constructed all the things according to the question. Then we can go for the options. First option, it is saying the dimension of V is even. So we got it, yes, dimension of V is even. So it means for particular case I cannot say that it is true, but here it is asking which of the following is false. So I can discard the first option, cannot be true. The second option, what it is saying, the dimension 0 is the only eigenvalue of T. So okay, let's start again. Apply T of xy. What you will get, that is nothing but T of 0 comma x, and according to the definition of this transformation you will get 0 comma 0. Means you got it, T square of x comma y equal to 0 0 for every x, y or alpha belongs to R2. This will imply that T square is 0 transformation. This will imply that T is nilpotent. T is nilpotent. And once we got to know that T is a nilpotent operator, directly you can claim that each eigenvalue of T is 0. Each eigenvalue of T is 0. So here what it is saying, 0 is the only eigenvalue of T. Yes, it is correct, but false. So that's why we can discard. And T square is equal to 0, that we have seen. Again we can discard this option. So right answer is going to be C. Otherwise also here you can do one thing. Try to find out the matrix of T. Whatever the transformation I have defined, try to find out the matrix of T, and you can cross verify everything you can check out. So what will be the matrix of T? This is T of x comma y is equal to 0 comma x. So with this transformation, try to find out matrix of T with respect to the standard basis. T of 1 comma 0, T of 0 comma 1, and you need to write as a linear combination of 1 comma 0, 0 comma 1. So what will be the value of T of 1 comma 0? T of 1 comma 0, it is going to be 0 comma 1, and T of 0 comma 1, it is 0 0. So here you will get 0 comma 1, 0 0. So you can check out, this is the matrix. Suppose this matrix is A and this matrix is nilpotent, and what is the index? Its index is 2, because A square will be equal to 0, and each eigenvalue, this is a, I can say that triangular matrix, so its eigenvalue will be diagonal elements, so all the diagonal entries are 0, so eigenvalues are 0. So with the help of this also you can discard this option, all these options, and the remaining one will be the right answer. So I hope you got it, this problem in a clear way. So next time whenever they will ask such type of questions, you have to proceed like this. And I'm not saying this is the only, these are the only ways to solve this problem. There are many ways, you can go via any method, okay. And here this problem is from GATE 2020. The similar problem I'm picking from GATE 2016, okay. This similar problem, once I will solve, then you can relate this problem with the previous one also, and where you can get confusion, that also you will get, okay. So this question is from GATE 2016. Let's read the question carefully. Consider a real vector space V of finite dimension n and a non-zero linear transformation T from a vector space V to V. If dimension of TV means range space, TV means range space, okay, the image of V under T, that is range space, is strictly less than n, and T square is equal to some scalar times or lambda times T, where lambda should be non-zero from R, then which of the following is true? Which of the following is true? So again, there are two ways to solve this problem. One, you can go via direct way. Otherwise, the second way, you try to construct all the things according to the question. After that, you can discard the option, and remaining one is going to be correct. Okay, so let's start the solution part for this. Okay, so what will be the solution? First, I will go via direct way. Whatever the information is given, I will try to conclude the things. So it is given that T square is equal to lambda times T. So if you take T this side, you will get T minus lambda equal to 0, right? Or you can say that yes, annihilating polynomial, you will get x into x minus lambda equal to 0. So x is equal to 0, x is equal to lambda. Okay, yes, what it is saying means x is equal to 0 may be the eigenvalue, and x is equal to lambda, which is non-zero, also may be the eigenvalue, because it is an annihilating polynomial, I can say that. So yes, you can say that x is equal to 0 and x is equal to lambda may be the eigenvalue, okay, right. So not maybe, I think you can surely say that x is equal to 0 is the eigenvalue, but what it is saying, the determinant of T is equal to lambda to the power n, where lambda is non-zero, so this quantity is non-zero. But here you got it, eigenvalue 0, possibility that eigenvalue 0, but what is the determinant of T? Is nothing but the product of eigenvalues, So one eigenvalue is 0, so that time its determinant is going to be 0, so the first option I can cut, okay. Now the second, what it is saying, there exists a non-trivial subspace V1 of V such that Tx is equal to 0 for all x belongs to V1. And the third option, T is invertible, this also you can cut, because once determinant is 0, then you can cut, okay, because T is invertible if determinant is non-zero. What it is saying, lambda is the only eigenvalue of T, this also you can cut, because 0 is also the possibility that it may be the eigenvalue, and surely it will be eigenvalue if these are the conditions, okay. Now if you have discarded three options, this option is going to be correct. But why this option is correct? If you want to check it, you can see what it is saying. There exists a non-trivial subspace V1. So my question is, what is actually that V1? So you need to cross verify. This V1 is nothing but it will be the null space of T. Null space of T. Okay, and if I'm saying V1 is non-zero, means null space is non-zero, means it is not equal to zero space only. It means what? There exists some non-zero alpha such that T alpha is equal to 0. Okay, such that T alpha is equal to 0. So that a space will be nothing but null space. So this is the one way, and you cross verify why this space is going to be null space. Okay, so in the first way you can solve this problem. The second way also you can see. In the second way, what I am going to do, I will try to construct all the things according to the question. What it is saying, let consider V is a vector space of finite dimension. So I can construct a vector space. V is nothing but R2 over field R. Okay, and T I am defining from R2 to R2 over R. Okay, after that what it is saying, non-zero linear transformation means T should be non-zero. Okay, and dimension of T means dimension of range space should be strictly less than n. What is n? N is 2, and T square is equal to some lambda times T. So you can check out if I am defining this transformation, T of x comma y equal to, you can define x comma 0. Clearly this vector belongs to the range space of T, or this vector I can say that belongs to the TV also. So this vector belongs to the range space of T. It means what I can say that its dimension is going to be, you can check out its dimension will be, dimension of range space will be 1. You can check out. Okay, therefore the dimension of range space of T, which is strictly less than, you can say that dimension of V is 2. So first condition is okay. First condition, this one is okay. The dimension of range space is strictly less than n. Okay, no problem. Now next thing what it is saying, T square is equal to lambda times T. So you can check out first of all what will be T square. T square of x comma y, it will be nothing but T of x comma 0, and according to that this you will get x comma 0, which is nothing but T of x comma 0, that is T of x comma y, right? So from here what we got it, T square is equal to T. T square is equal to T. So what is lambda? Lambda is 1, and 1 which is non-zero, and 1 belongs to the field. You can check out everything is satisfying according to the question. Now we can discard the options. So first thing what it is saying, determinant of T will be non-zero. So you can check out this transformation. Otherwise you can find out the matrix of T. What will be the matrix of T? First of all, try to find out the matrix of T under this transformation. T of x comma y equal to x comma 0. So with respect to the standard basis, T of 1 comma 0, T of 0 comma 1, and you have to write in the linear combination of 1 comma 0, 0 comma 1. What is the image of 1 comma 0? That is 1 0. So here you will get 1 0, and its image is going to be 0 0. So this will be 0 0. So here you got it, this matrix. This is your A. Now you can check out, this is a triangular matrix. So eigenvalues are 1 and 0. 1 and 0 particular case. What it is saying, sorry, here the determinant will be non-zero always. So I got it, determinant is 0. So this option you can cut. T is invertible, this option also you can cut. Lambda is the only eigenvalue, means 1. 1 as well as 0 is also the eigenvalue, this option also you can cut. And here what it is saying, there exists a non-trivial subspace V1 such that T of x is equal to 0 for all x belongs to the V1. So you can check out here what is the null space you are getting. What is the null space of this T you are getting? The null space of T you will get, null space of T will be nothing but all x such that all x comma y such that t of x comma y equal to 0 0. So what you will get? All x y such that t of x y is nothing but x comma y equal to 0 0, that is x comma 0, x comma 0. So from here you will get x is equal to 0. It means complete y axis is your null space, and yes, this is the non-zero subspace. So I got it. There exists a non-trivial subspace V1 which is nothing but in that case y axis. In that case it is y axis such that tx is equal to 0. Complete y axis is mapping to 0. So that is the non-trivial subspace and we are calling it null space. And yes, there it is, I'm getting this subspace, so this option is correct. And I'm not saying these are the only particular examples. You can construct many examples also, like you can define this also transformation t of x comma y is equal to 0 comma y. So in this case you will see null space, you will get complete your x axis. You can check out, and with the help of these options also you can discard the options. Like in the previous problem also you can see here, as we have defined this transformation in this problem, question number 27, in case of 27. Okay, so we have defined this transformation t of x y equal to 0 comma x. You can go via this transformation of t of x comma y is equal to, you can define y comma 0. So in this case you will see range space and null space will be x axis, and you can discard the options. Okay, and there are many examples also, you can discard the options. So I hope you got it, and if you have any doubt in this explanation, please feel free to ask. Tell me in the comment section, I will try to resolve your doubt. Okay, so the right answer is B. Now the next problem, this problem is GATE 2020 and it is a question number 28, and it is really nice problem. Okay, let's read the problem. What it is saying: let P belongs to capital M and M over N over R, means it is a vector space such that it is the collection of all matrices of order M cross N over the field of real numbers. Okay, we know that. And consider the following statements. First statement: if x p y is equal to 0 for all x belongs to 1 cross m tuple vector, and for all y belongs to n cross 1, okay, tuple, or you can say that m tuple and n tuple. For all x m tuple and for all y n tuple, then p is equal to 0. First statement. Second statement: if m is equal to n comma p is symmetric and p square is equal to 0, then p is equal to 0. So you need to tell which of the following are true, means both first and second both are true. First is true, second is false. First is false, second is true. Both first and second are false. So we'll go one by one. First of all, I will do the analysis on first statement. Okay, so first statement, what it is saying: if x p y is equal to 0 for every x, and be careful, x is a m tuple vector, okay, and y is a n tuple vector for every x and y. And what is x? You have to remember, x is nothing but it is a 1 cross m vector, means it is a column vector, and it is a row vector. x is a row vector, ठीक है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं आता। और y क्या है? y जो है आपका कॉलम वेक्टर है। सो y इज अ कॉलम वेक्टर n cross 1. Okay, now what I can do, you can think in this way also. Take this part xp. Suppose xp is nothing but your c, and what will be the order of xp? As x is of order 1 cross m, p is m cross n, and y is n cross 1. So xp will be of order 1 cross n, and y is n cross 1 equal to 0, and you are saying it is true for every y. So if c times y this thing completely I'm assuming that okay it is a C, and I'm saying it is true for every y. This will imply that with the help of inner product also you can say that if you can think as an inner product, so you can say that this will imply that C is 0. But what is actually C? C is nothing but xp equal to 0, and it is true for also every x. If xp is equal to 0 for every x, then you can say that p is equal to 0. So in this way you can say that the first statement is true. You can say that the first statement is true. Suppose if you are not getting in this way, then there is another way to solve this problem also, and I can say that this will be the proof of the first statement. You can prove it also. What it is saying, x p y equal to 0 for every x. What is x? X is a row vector like this, and it is true for every y, where y is a column vector 1 cross n. Now you can check out, these are also the vector space 1 cross m and m cross 1. So if xpy equal to 0 for all x belongs to this vector space and for all y belongs to this vector space, it means I can say that it will be true for the basis element of this vector space as well as it will be true for the basis element of this vector space. Means what I am trying to say that let EI is the basis, where what is EI? EI is nothing but 0, 0 and so on 1, 0, 0, 0, where this 1 is at ith position number. Okay, ith position number, and clearly it is the basis vector of this. Okay, now suppose EJ. What is EJ? I am defining EJ like this. 0, 0 and so on 1, and this one at jth position, ith position, and this is at jth position, and so on, it is 0. And don't forget EJ is a 1 cross n and EI is 1 cross m, and this is not, it will be n cross 1. Yes, n cross 1. I hope you are getting what I am trying to say. Okay, n cross 1 and 1 cross m. Let me verify again. 1 cross m and n cross 1. Yes. Okay, so if it is true for each xy, it means it will be true for the basis vector also. It means what I can say that EI p times EJ equal to 0 for every EI EJ. It will be true, because it was true for every vector belongs to those vector space. It means in particular case it will be true for the basis vector corresponding to these vector spaces, this one and this one, right? Now you can check out EI, you can put like this. What is P? P matrix will be look like this. I can say that it will be look like this: A11, A12 and so on, A1n, like that, A21, A22 and so on, A2n, like that you will get AN1, AN2 and so on, ANN. Or the general element of this matrix I can define Aij, where I is running from 1 to n, j is also running from 1 to n, into Ej. What is Ej? Ej will be a column vector. You can put column vector like 0, 0 and so on up to 1, 0, 0, 0, and this one will be at jth position, right? This one is jth position equal to 0. Now if you know this matrix multiplication, what is actually this? A times x, a matrix A into a column vector x. This is nothing but the linear combination of columns of A, right? If you don't know, you can watch the previous videos where I have defined the matrix multiplication. So you will get to know that yes, this Px is nothing but, you can write linear combination of columns of P matrix, means where scalars will come from this column vector. Means what you will get, this EI will be as it is, no problem. and this complete thing you will get as a linear combination of columns of P. So 0 times first column plus 0 times second column and so on. If you go on, plus 1 times you will get jth column of P matrix, that is jth column of P matrix. This column will be nothing but jth column, plus and so on you will get 0 times last column and equal to 0. So you can see all these columns are going to be 0. Simply you will get EI into the jth column of this P matrix. What will imply that? What actually it will imply that this EI into the jth column of this matrix, jth column of this matrix, it will be nothing but A1j, A2j and so on ANJ. From here you can check out EI will be nothing but the row vector in which ith entry is non-zero, that is 1, and other entries are 0. So you can check out from here, you can imply that Aij is equal to 0 for every ij. Once you will run I and you will run j, you will get each entry of P matrix is 0. So I have shown that each entry of P matrix is 0. It means that P matrix is exactly 0. So you can say that this is the proof of the first statement also. So I can say that first statement is true. So if first statement is true, wherever it is saying the second first is false, you can discard. Here it is saying first is false, you can discard. Here it is saying first is false, you can discard these options. Now first is true. What about the second? Second is true, second is false. It means we have to do the analysis for second also. Okay. So let me start for the second statement. What it is saying, if m is equal to n, P is symmetric and P square is equal to 0, then P equal to 0 matrix. So according to me, this statement is also true. This statement is also true. Why? Here I am giving some explanation. Okay, for the second statement. Yes. So first of all, it is saying P is symmetric matrix and M is equal to N, means it is a square matrix and symmetric. If P is symmetric matrix, then you can always imply that P is diagonalizable, because we know that every symmetric matrix over R is always diagonalizable. Okay. Now next thing, it is saying P square is equal to 0. From here what I can say, that if a matrix A to the power n is equal to 0, then you can say that A is a nilpotent. So P square is equal to 0. That means I can say that P is nilpotent matrix. P is nilpotent matrix. If P is nilpotent matrix, it means what I can say, that if P square is equal to 0, you can say that P is a nilpotent matrix, right? If P is a nilpotent matrix, and here we are saying P is a diagonalizable matrix, and one result we know that nilpotent matrix की सभी आइगन वैल्यू 0 होती हैं, means each eigen value of nilpotent matrix is 0, and 0 matrix is the only matrix which is diagonalizable, means non-zero nilpotent matrix can never be diagonalizable. So what is the possibility of P, that P is diagonalizable as well as nilpotent? The possibility is only P is equal to 0 matrix. Why I am saying? Because we know that one result, a non-zero nilpotent matrix can never be diagonalizable. Only 0 matrix which is nilpotent is the diagonalizable matrix. Okay, 0 matrix ही ऐसी matrix है जो nilpotent होते हुए diagonalizable होती है. नॉन जीरो मैट्रिक्स अगर कोई है और वो nilpotent है, तो फिर वो diagonalizable कभी नहीं होगी. That we know that. So the only possibility is P is equal to diagonalizable and nilpotent. It means P is only the zero matrix, because in this case both conditions can be true. It is diagonalizable as well as it is nilpotent. If P is non-zero, then what will happen? Okay, it may be diagonalizable, but it cannot be nilpotent, because if it is diagonalizable and if it is non-zero, then you cannot say that it will be nilpotent. Only the zero matrix which is nilpotent and diagonalizable. So P is equal to 0. Suppose if you are not getting in this way, then I will try to explain this another way. If you know the meaning of symmetric matrix, What is the meaning of symmetric matrix? A matrix A is said to be symmetric if A transpose is equal to A. That is nothing but Aij is equal to Aji. What is the meaning of this? Means at the diagonal you can put any entries, 0, non-zero, from the field, not from anywhere. You can put any entries over the diagonal from field. But whatever the entry you are putting at above the diagonal, suppose A at ith jth position, then the below the diagonal at the position jth ith you have to put the same entry. Suppose means at 2 comma 3 I am putting 7, so 3 comma 2 I have to put 7. Means what I am trying to say, above the entry, whatever be the behavior of the entries or whatever the entries you are writing above the diagonal, the same entries will be below the diagonal in their corresponding position. Like if it is ith jth, then here it will be jth ith. So with this concept I can also say that the second statement is true. First of all, what it is saying, if m is equal to n and p is symmetric, so okay, if p is symmetric and it is saying p square is equal to 0, if p square equal to 0, it means it will be a nilpotent matrix. So in case of nilpotent matrix, either it will be strictly upper triangular matrix or it will be strictly lower triangular matrix. So without loss of generality, suppose assume that it is a strictly upper triangular matrix, means below the diagonal entries and diagonal entries are 0. Okay, without loss of generality, suppose it is strictly upper triangular, because if a matrix is nilpotent, either it will be strictly upper triangular or it will be strictly lower triangular. So I am assuming that okay, it is a strictly upper triangular matrix, no problem. Now here it is saying it is a symmetric matrix, means there is the chance that non-zero entries may be there, but here it is saying it is a symmetric matrix. It means whatever the entries below the diagonal, the same entries will be above the diagonal. So here also it will be 0. So this, what is P? You are getting 0 matrix. Strictly upper triangular means the non-zero entries can be above the diagonal and below the diagonal entries must be 0. And in the similar case you can prove it in case of suppose lower triangulars. Okay, so means the non-zero entries over the field are can be below the diagonal, and diagonal entries and above the diagonal entries may strictly 0. Again it is a symmetric matrix, so if there are some non-zero entries then it cannot be symmetric. And because of nilpotent I am writing this structure, so if above the entries are 0, then that entries has to be also 0 because of the symmetric behavior of P matrix. Then P matrix is 0. P matrix is 0. So you can say that yes, P matrix is 0. Suppose if you are not getting in this way also, then there is another way. You can check out in this way. I hope you will get what it is saying. P is symmetric. P is symmetric and P square is equal to 0. Then I want to prove that P equal to 0. P has to be 0 matrix, where P is a matrix of order n cross n. Okay, so first of all we know that one result, the rank of A matrix into A transpose is always equal to rank of A. With the help of this result also you can prove that. Since P is a symmetric matrix, it means you will get P transpose is equal to P. Now apply this result on P matrix. So you will get rank of P transpose into P equal to, you will get rank of P. So therefore what you will get, rank of P transpose and P both are same because P is symmetric. So you will get rank of P square equal to rank of P. But what is P square? P square is a 0 matrix. Therefore you will get rank of P equal to 0. Rank of P is equal to 0 because P square is a 0 matrix. So rank of P square is 0. So rank of P is also 0. A matrix for which rank is 0, that possibility is the only that 0 matrix. 0 matrix की ही रैंक केवल 0 हो सकती है, नॉन 0 मैट्रिक्स की रैंक कभी भी 0 नहीं होती है. तो क्या पता चला हमें कि P is equal to 0 only the possibility. This means that the second statement is also true. So here it is saying second is false. You can discard this option and first statement is true. So I hope you got this explanation. Even though if you are having any doubt, please feel free to ask. Tell me in the comment section, and I will try to resolve your doubt. So thank you, all of you. Thanks for the watching.